Well, if there's no such thing as bad publicity, the French comedian Dieudonne Mbala has never had it so good. The highest court in France has reinstated a ban on his show just before it was due to open. The government appealed to the Council of State to intervene just moments after a judge in the city of Nantes had overturned that ban. The comic does have 7 convictions for anti-Semitic hate speech. He'd already arrived at the theatre in Nantes, though, where more than 5,000 people were due to see the show. And the verdict was greeted with boos and chants of Dieudonne's name by those who'd gathered to see him perform. As for the French Prime Minister, Jean-Marc Ayrault, he said he was satisfied with the latest decision and emphasised that there could be no complacency about anti-Semitism.
Quel est l'enjeu? L'enjeu, c'est la lutte contre.
What is at stake? What's at stake is the struggle against the drift towards anti-Semitism in which Mr. Dieudonne was engaged. Over the course of time, each show led to a spiralling out of control, and we can't accept that in our society there is the slightest complacency with regards to anti-Semitism. It's totally alien to our values and principles.
Well, with me in the studio is the French journalist Nabila Ramdani. And Nabila, it's possibly a short-term victory here for the government in this sort of toing and froing of decisions from the court. Long-term, have they made a smart move jumping in on this?
Well, as you said, for the moment, clearly it's a victory for the government, who is proudly announcing that what's happened tonight is a victory against anti-Semitism. As you rightly reminded the audience, Dieudonne has, of course, had 7 convictions in the past for anti-Semitic comments and indeed hate speech, and he's now widely associated with the anti-Jewish sentiment. But I think
I suppose that makes it difficult for his supporters to clamour for freedom of expression, doesn't it? 7 convictions.
Well, absolutely, very much so. And clearly this is a case of the state, and in particular a notoriously tough Interior Minister Manuel Valls doing everything possible to stop a highly controversial figure from performing in public. And what it effectively reopens in France is a discussion about freedom of speech and anti-Semitism in particular through the Dieudonne case. And it has to be said that we've heard some politicians being divided over the issue. Some mayors, for example, are likely to allow Dieudonne to perform, while others are firmly against him, performing in a public space. But France has had that kind of debate before, it has to be said, about freedom of speech. We've seen it with the conviction, for example, of the fashion designer John Galliano, who was punished for his anti-Semitic comments which he made in a bar while drunk. And there was another case involving another fashion designer, Guerlain, who made comments against black people on national television and was not punished in the same manner, for example. There was also the case of the Charlie Hebdo magazine.
Sorry, there are plenty of cases you're pointing out, which is interesting in itself, but Dieudonne would also suggest that he is a champion for other minorities, and he clearly has a considerable belt of support here. Is France really split on this?
Well, I think Dieudonne has had some repulsive views in the past, which have rightly been condemned.
So, what's his appeal then?
I think I think that it is the kind of things that happens when the political and indeed the legal establishment get together to stigmatise an individual, and so stigmatising him through the media has made Dieudonne a rallying point for anti-establishment figures or indeed bigots.
Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much indeed.